This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Welcome in another week here on the Bryan Moore Show, presented by Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika, exit 62 off of I-85. Get ready to smile. Well, tough loss for the Bulldogs this past Thursday night against the Auburn Tigers inside Bulldog Stadium. But we're going to shift gears. We're going to talk a little homecoming. But first up, we're going to talk cornerbacks. We've got the cornerbacks with us on the defensive side of the football, and we've got Braden Howard with us, Jay Battle, and Jamel Griffin. And first off, Braden, let's start with you. I know it was a tough game on Thursday night. The offense kind of put the defense in a tough spot, but you guys were able to keep the game close, give the offense a chance there late in the ball game. Talk about the way that one played out.
I feel like not having our starting quarterback played a big factor, but Fuller Young, he stepped up, played a big part in the game. And defense, we just had to get some stops, give our offense a chance. And, that's how I got to be at 7A level. Yeah,
and you guys had your handfuls with a pretty good quarterback back there that could run and throw. Talk about the challenges of that.
Just got to stay connected in the back end, really, when he get in the scramble drill, and not losing your eyes, and just having your eyes in the right spot.
Jay, how do you think the season's been going so far for you?
It's been good. It's been good. Ups and downs, but, got to stay steady.
And defensively, you guys had to really step in a role. And, most of you guys weren't starters last year, and you've had a lot of challenges so far this season, and you stepped up for the most part on defense.
Oh, yeah.
What's some more goals for you this season as far as improving and moving forward?
I got to get some interceptions. The class that just left had plenty of them. I got to step up, play a role in the defense.
Yeah. Jamel, what do you think about the game Thursday night and ways you can improve on moving forward this season?
I think we fought hard, but, like you said, quarterback issues, starting linebacker got hurt. So, yeah, but I think just keep fighting, just keep working.
This has been a physical first 3 games of the season, every one of them. I mean, you look at going back to Ben Russell, I know we've got a lot of guys that are still banged up from that game, and then Callaway, that was a physical game on the road. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, your rival. And then, now trying to look at a homecoming game, picking up your first region win. I know the most important one's the first one.
Right.
I know you're excited for Friday night.
Definitely.
For sure.
Anything else you guys can think of defensively as far as let's talk about your position coach a little bit, Coach Murray, who's not here with us today. Braden, what do you think Coach Murray's how's he been doing this year?
I like how he coaches pretty hard, trying to get us at the best level that he can. He kind of silly sometimes, but that's just how he is.
Now, does anybody have a funny Coach Murray story since he's not here that you'd like to share? You're not going to get in trouble, trust me.
Coach Murray, he'll say everything. He don't care.
Right. Yeah, it don't matter who around.
Yeah, who around.
Coach Murray, yeah, we'll say anything. I can believe that. Well, guys, we appreciate it. I know y'all are looking forward to the lunch on Thursday. You'll be the guest this week, so everybody have a chance to come out and see these 3 guys talk. Maybe Coach Murray will show up at the lunch on Thursday. We'll see. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, Coach Murray, the pressure's on now for the lunch on Thursday. First Baptist Church, Opelika. Don't forget, make sure and get your reservations or at least RSVP. Let them know you're coming. You don't have to have a reservation, but it does start at noon. First Baptist Church, Opelika, in the 316 Center there at First Baptist Church, Opelika. And back to the normal day on Thursday this week with the game coming up on Friday. We'll continue with more of the Bryan Moore Show with the head coach, Bryan Moore, after this timeout. Welcome back here on the Bryan Moore Show with head coach Bryan Moore. And Coach, we're coming out of the segment there with the cornerbacks. Talk about that group a little bit and what Coach Murray's done with that group.
Well, it's an inexperienced group, and that was a big, fear I guess we had, or question mark going into the year was who would replace Cord and Devin, in the job that they did. We lost all 5 on the back end, and really from, and you start your year with the corners against Ben Russell and their receiving corps. So they just done a great job. I mean, Coach Murray, when I got back here 2 years ago, he was not coaching, and I had seen his body of work. I had seen his veteran presence, and every year we always played great at corner, and some years we had really good corners and, like Steven and those guys and
right.
Aldricus and some of those guys on the back end. And then some years we didn't, we weren't as talented. And every year we still got great production. And then last year, Cord gives up 1 pass over 20 yards all year. all year, which is insane. And Devin had a great year. So just he's done a great job with this group. You know, and Jamel, Braden, and Jay have all had great years. And he does a good job of mixing and matching, you know, and we kind of play them home sideline and away sideline, you know. And, you know, of course, the one he trusts, you know, they trust them all, but the one that he feels that has the most confidence goes to that visiting sideline, and that's been Braden so far. And we see Braden's made some huge plays over the first 3 weeks, specifically the interception last week. So excited about their growth. You know, 2 of them are juniors, and Jay's the lone senior. So we'll have 2 of those guys back again next year.
Yeah, Braden looked like he might could play center field for Coach Butler pretty good with that over-the-shoulder catch.
Great angle on that ball. I mean, and you know, it kind of felt like the same throw as a year ago that got behind us, you know. And, you know, you felt like Auburn was taking a shot early in the second half, and for Braden to pick that off and then get a great return out of it and set us up with great field position really made a difference and really got us back in that ball game.
Yeah, and that was a challenge too. I mean, like you mentioned, week 1 was a challenge, week 2 was a challenge, and week 3 was a challenge for those cornerbacks. And I thought, you know, the defensive time has been bend but don't break, but they've been put in some bad situations too.
Well, you know, 7 possessions in the first half for Auburn went into our territory, which I've never seen before. You know, we just didn't play good on offense. We didn't get out of the hole. You know, we felt like we were backed up the whole game. From a special team standpoint, you know, obviously offensively, but for our defense to continue to rally and go out there and get stops, block field goals, you know, find 4th down stops, like that's so massive for them. And really a group that I thought coming in the year was going to be the one we kind of had to bring along. You know, there's still other challenges left out there. You know, nobody's really lined up and ran the ball right at us. You know, so we you know, we're going to have to do a good job of continue to have gap integrity and play the run with, you know, extra tight ends and fullbacks like Dothan and like Smiths is going to do, and some of that stuff. So, but I've been really pleased with their effort and resilience on that side of the ball.
Coach, talk a little about the game on Thursday night. I know it was a challenging game. You had your own setbacks before the game even started, but, you know, you had a chance there in the end.
Yeah, you know, but basically the game was rinse and repeat from last year, you know, to where, you know, we had the ball driving with a decision to make, this time inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. And, you know, our kids played so hard to get back in that game. And even when we were playing hard in the second half, we still weren't playing great. We had, I think, 4 possessions that went either in the red zone or right around the fringe area there. And, you know, we made a field goal, missed one. We left some opportunities out there. We turned over a snap issue in the third quarter going in to score. And so, just in the games like that, and I know Coach Etheridge feels the same way about their first half, like you got to seize those moments. When you get red zone opportunities, when you get the ball in plus territory in a big region game, rivalry game, you got to convert. And we didn't do that. And then obviously at the end of the game, you know, driving in, what a great drive. You know, our last 2 drives, CJ had the big 60-yard touchdown run and broke, you know, 8 tackles. I don't know what it was, but incredible run. Jordan had some great runs. You know, those 2 guys had to step up in a night where Blake only had 2 carries, you know, and he really didn't impact the game, where last year in every big game, Blake Johnson was a huge factor. So we're seeing other kids step up. You know, obviously Fuller Young. You know, I know Fuller being put in that situation, you know, there's no kid I would rather have than him as far as his character, his buy-in and surrender to the program, and, you know, the effort that he's given our program. I mean, I showed the kids this morning, we're watching, you know, championship plays, and so we're watching this play on 4th down. He converts to J-Wash over the middle. Well, what most people didn't see is that Fuller stepped right into I'm talking about smoked him. You know, the Gamston kid hits him, and he steps right. He knows he's going to get hit, right? And that kid's come right at him. He steps in it anyway for his program and converts that. So, again, I wanted it so badly for him, for our whole town and, you know, our program obviously, but for Fuller and the way that he stepped up and just the effort that our kids played with down the stretch. But ultimately, moral victories are something that we don't have to do here. And so I've got to figure out a way to get us over the hump in that game, regardless of who's playing. It doesn't matter if we have 6 guys out. That doesn't matter. Right. What matters is, did we win or not? And we've got to find other kids that can step up and, you know, play to the standard. We lost LaKedrick in play 2 of the game, you know, and he's been our captain on defense. And so, but for Trey Stone to step up and play 62 snaps on defense, and, you know, our guys continuing to battle, I'm proud of them. I do think it's something we can build on. It makes me sick to have to build on it with a loss. I appreciate the effort of the week for our kids and coaches, and we're going to get ourselves back going just like we did last year, and hopefully have a chance at those guys again. Who knows of what comes down the road.
Yeah, because in the second half, Coach, I mean, going in at halftime, things looked really bad. I mean, you kind of felt like you were down 3 scores, you know, coming out of the second half, and the way the team bounced back, the way your coaching staff, you know, changed things up at halftime, and the way the team played in the second half. and have an opportunity there late in that game. I don't think many people at halftime going to the concession stand thought that Opelika would have a chance there in that game to win it.
Our kids rallied. You know, a lot of people have asked me, you know, they always want to know what's said at halftime.
Right.
You know, is there some sort of like magic formula? You just got to play better. Like, we didn't play good in the first half. Like, stuff that's out of character. Again, the first 3 games, I'm thankful, you know, that we've won some of those games, and I'm thankful that we've competed our tails off, but we just have not played well yet. Like, I continue to use the word clean. Like, we're not operating at the level we need to win these region games. Like, in our region, it feels like the NFL. Like, you're going to win or lose by 3 points. Like, very seldom are you going to see landslide victories. And that just doesn't happen. Everybody's so good and so talented. So we've got to continue. Like, we can't turn the ball over 4 times. We had 4 turnovers. You can't beat Auburn with 4 turnovers. You can't beat Central. You can't beat Enterprise. You can't beat Carver. You can't beat those guys with 4 turnovers. And so we've got to find a way to take care of the ball, something we did not have an issue with a year ago. We got to cut down our penalties, something that we had 3 special teams penalties. Well, that can't happen. And so, but again, we continue to fight. Our kids are in a good place. It stinks. And I mean, you know, our community, you know, we got people that, you know, we hate losing that game, but our kids feel awful about it. Like, our coaching staff, you know, we've got to find a way to do that. So again, proud of the resilience, proud of the bounce back this week.
Yeah, it's homecoming too, and Jag comes in a team that has not won a game. So you kind of got to regroup, get the troops focused on a team that, you know, is hungry for a win. And you're trying to come off of a tough emotional loss, and I know that's been the focus this week.
You know, and I've been very frank with the kids, like, we're not good enough to, I don't think you ever are, but this team has so much to fix on its own that, like, we can't, it doesn't matter what Jag has or hasn't done. Like, this is a much improved team. Like, everybody's going to see that. I'm telling you all that. Friday, they drove right down the field on Carver the very first drive and scored a touchdown. They got a really dynamic quarterback. This is not one of those deals where we go, oh, we're playing Jag, but we're also looking at these opponents. That's not true. Like, I'm completely focused on Jag. I spent my whole day today on Jag, on what they're going to run offensively. We're putting the same effort and energy into them as we would anyone else, and we got to play well. We need to start fast, okay, get a lead in the game, and put our foot on the gas. And I think that our kids are hungry for that, to be able to play and dominate a ball game. So again, you know, there's nothing like getting the taste out of your mouth and getting to play again. So we're excited about Friday.
Yeah, and the 2 opponents that they played early in the season in Hewitt-Trustful, the rankings aren't out for this week, but they're probably 1 or 2 or 3 in the state,
yeah, no doubt.
if not number 1.
Right.
Carver, of course, one of our better teams that we have in our region. So
right.
They played 2 really good teams.
No doubt.
It's not going to be anything different for them coming into Bulldog Stadium.
No, and you know, they had some spurts last year. They had a big receiver who was a good player. The quarterback's a great player they had last year. This is a little different, more of a shifty, dual threat kid. And so, you know, again, we need to play well on both sides. We need to control the line of scrimmage, and we need to absolutely dominate the kicking game, which we have not done. It's time to play really clean. You know, we have about 12 goals that Coach Ferguson takes us through kicking-wise, and we need to hit all those goals this week and just get back to Opelika football.
How about Xavier Thomas before we go, though? 2 blocked field goals. Coach, have you ever had this same guy block 2 field goals?
I mean, just on the kickoff right after half, that was Xavier.
Yeah.
Jamel forced that turnover, and so he's just playing really well right now. Really proud of him.
Well, I tell you, can he play some offense too? You might want to bring him over.
No doubt. He, you know, Jamel, well, and Xavier, but Xavier especially has played a lot of backyard football in his life. That kid just knows how to run and tackle and really can do a lot of things on the field.
Fun guy to watch for sure. Homecoming Friday night. Make sure you can pack it in Bulldog Stadium and invite all your former Bulldog fans to be there. 7 o'clock kickoff. We're back on Friday night, Coach.
Thank goodness.
I know. It'll be a little different, but don't forget the lunch on Thursday this week back at its normal time, First Baptist Church, Opelika. That'll be at noon. Coach and those cornerbacks will be there and some special guests. So should be a lot of fun as we get ready for homecoming Friday night inside Bulldog Stadium. We'll see you back next week right back here on the Bryan Moore Show.